Hail, hail, the Celts are here, and what the hell do we care now? We are entering the penultimate chapter of the season. We're in the final week of January. Transfer sagas are coming to an end. Players are coming in, players are going out. It feels like the Ange Postecoglou jigsaw that we've been assembling over the last year and a half, 2 years, is almost at its conclusion. We've got so many of the right pieces in the right places now. In the video today, we'll be looking at the squad, where it sits now, what are the question marks we've got remaining, and what expectations we've got coming in to this penultimate chapter of the season. At any point in the video, drop a comment down below and get your voice in the conversation as well for all the stuff we're talking about, whether it be transfer targets, expectations for the season, or the general makeup of the squad. Don't forget, if you do laugh, you learn, you like something or whatever, please do like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Stay out of trouble, and yeah, let's get stuck into it. Now, I've been poring over the scouting data and all the footage I can possibly get my hands on for the latest striker that we've got coming in, Oh Hyeon-gyu. Now, I watch a fair amount of football, but the K-League is not really on my radar, and I was holding off really investigating into this guy because we had a few links come out of Asia as soon as the Giakoumakis links materialised, like Thiago Santana, Yuma Suzuki. There was a few guys like that. I just thought there's too many wishy-washy links. I'm just going to stay away from it, and we'll see if any of them materialise. And the guy's in Glasgow. He's having dinner here last night. It looks like it's all going to be signed, sealed, and delivered over the next couple of days. He's in, and I've got to say, very surprised upon analysis of this guy. I was expecting him to be closer to Cho, who we've been linked to already, closer to Giakoumakis, who's going to be leaving and we're also looking to replace. But this guy is Kyogo Furuhashi 2.0. I've watched this guy's goals, the way he passes, the way he presses, his acceleration, and this guy is very much a little Kyogo in the making. At 21 years of age, he'll be coming into the team in the last week of January or so. He says in Glasgow at the moment, and like we've seen with previous signings, Alistair Johnson, Yuki Kobayashi is the latest ones, never mind the other ones we've seen Ange bring in thus far. It will take him around a month or so, maybe 2 weeks at a push, before we see him start to feature in matchday squads. So I'm not expecting to see this guy do anything over February, really. If we see him in February, fantastic. But this penultimate chapter of the season I was talking about in the intro, the next 12 to 13 games across all competitions, he could definitely be playing a part in these once we get to the second half of that chapter, as it were, where we do have a couple of away games intermixed with some home games. We're fighting across 3 different competitions, and having someone that can really, truly replicate what Kyogo does for us in that centre forward role whenever we're going to give him a bit of rotation relief is fantastic for the rest of the squad, because they get to keep playing in the same vein, in the same way, regardless of who's on the pitch. And that was probably the biggest sticking point, it turns out, for Giakoumakis with Ange Postecoglou, because that's the mould he's opted to go to replace him as a Kyogo doppelganger, rather than getting an upgrade on the Giakoumakis profile, the fox in the box, the big guy that can hold it up and have a bit of chaos. Now, when I was looking at this guy and the goals he scores, he's got a bit of the chaos about him. You know, he loves a bit of a two-touch finish, a rebound off the goalkeeper and that kind of thing. 2 bites at the cherry, I should put it. Now, one thing that I do really want to hammer in this section, right, is the 2 things that we've all heard about Ange Postecoglou ever since he came over from Japan. Number 1, he primes his teams for the second half of the season. And number 2, he'll be infinitely better second season to first season. Now, I think if you compare and contrast the league tables from this season to last season, me and Declan did this on the flagship podcast last Thursday or Friday. If you have missed it, feel free to check it out. But last season, in a Europa League campaign, I forget the exact numbers, but we're on 50 odd points or so. And this season, in amongst a Champions League campaign, we've got over 60 points. It's a huge, markable difference. But once we get into the second half of the second season, I think, guys, we're about to really pull away here and really stretch open. Not just a huge gap domestically, right? But it's the form, it's the cohesion, it's the overall machine, the levels that the manager is pushing the team towards. I think we're going to start to see what 4th gear looks like. We're going to start to see the glimpses of what top gear, 5th gear, 6th gear, whatever looks like under the manager. The forward line being so robust across 3 positions for 7 people, not including Rocco Vata if you wanted to add him into the equation. The midfield symmetry that we've really developed over this window as well, with Aaron Moy post-World Cup, Callum McGregor coming back from fitness, Turnbull getting some good form in the team, alongside, of course, the golden boy Rio Hatate, and Matt O'Reilly. He's kind of struggled this year compared to last year in terms of his output, but he's had a really kind of difficult season. But then the only real question marks we have left in the team is in defence. Now, Juranovic is left, so we're back to having only 2 international class right backs, which is fine. And probably great for the harmony and the symmetry in the squad. On the left-hand side, it has been shown and it is apparent that Bernabe is not quite ready for first-team duties at the level that we could perhaps rotate our right-backs with. So Greg Taylor has been pictured back in training. I think he'll probably make it back for the next league match we've got, and is very likely to feature like 90% of the matches for the remainder of the season, I think, alongside Callum McGregor. But in centre-back, I think Starfelt is really coming onto a big game. Yuki Kobayashi looks tailor-made for this Celtic team as a left-footed centre-back, and like I've said many times on the channel, I think that's a huge upgrade tactically for us. And of course, we've got Cameron Carter-Vickers as the rock. So between 3 of those guys that are nailed on for two spots every single match, we've then got Welsh, highly rumoured to be leaving on loan, and Jens, who's at us on loan with a buy option that we don't look to be interested in exercising. He's starting to look around himself. Now, I have noticed that the manager is starting to mention Bosan Lawal with more and more frequency over the recent weeks. So I can see both of these guys actually leaving. Jens, I think, has built his profile up enough where other teams will be interested in him and give him a shot, whereas before the Celtic move, he was on nobody's radar. So I think for him, it's a great opportunity for him to advance his career on. He's not going to get any further with us, it seems. And as much as the guy loves the club, and it feels like he's been begging for Celtic to sign him with all the outward pours of love that he's had for Celtic across social media and whatever, but alas, it seems that it's probably not going to be, and we'll have to wish Jens probably, the best of luck for the future. And I think he's been class for us, but Starfelt has really come up a level, like I said about Kobayashi and Carter-Vickers. So then, if we're going to start talking about bringing Bosan Lawal through, we can't do that while Welsh is still around, and Welsh has links as well to go out on loan for the season, potentially to MLS and some other places around Europe. I would love to see Welsh go to the MLS. Their season's about to start, and he could really run the calendar year 2023 and have a full season in the MLS after having the kind of season he's had with us, where he's been in the team, out the team. He's not really been overexerted physically, fitness-wise, football-wise, and the MLS is well structured enough where he would get breaks anyway. So I think that would be a great opportunity for him and for us, because then we've always got Stephen Welsh not too far away over the next year to 2 years, where we could always recall him and perhaps use him if other players were to become injured or later sold. So I'll be very excited and very interested to see if we can get some, let's see if we can release ourselves of Jens, and if Welsh can get himself a nice developmental, I'll be very excited to see that. But we still have 3 other question marks in the squad, and I'm hoping we can just get these ties cut and done within the next week or two. Suki Deguchi, of course, James McCarthy, and Oliver Abelgard. It feels like with the inclusion of Tommy Iwata, that midfield, like I said, we've got absolute symmetry in there across all 3 positions, and there's no real need for these guys anymore. Sod's Law will probably have to hang on to McCarthy, but him as being like the 7th wheel, if we can't get rid of him, I don't think he's a bad option to be number 7 midfielder. Now, with the squad poised the way it is now, running into these next 12 games, this is what's going to set us up for the final chapter of the season. The final chapter of the season is going to be, we've got the League Cup final in the back. We're going into post-split SPFL. Maybe the league's all sewn up by then. And a Scottish Cup final on the horizon before we then move into the summer and make our preparations for next season. So that final chapter can be one of 2 ways. I hope and I expect it's going to be a victory lap, but maybe we need to get the job over the line. Maybe we need to get the job done there. And that's what's going to be dictated by this penultimate chapter we're coming into. How are the performances going to be? What are the results going to be like? And I fully expect, like I've alluded to already in the video, our performances and our results to continue to improve exponentially over this period. A lot of Celtic fans that I interact with, we've all been waiting for that game where we beat a team 10-0. We beat obviously Dundee United 9-0 earlier this season, and I think if we're going to do it, it's going to be in this section of the season, whether it be in Cup or the league. But the ruthlessness that the manager's shown in his team selection and the hunger from every player in the pitch to get their starting 11 spot by scoring, by influencing the match, no matter when they come on. It means that the next 12 games, I just see it being ultimately exciting. I can't see any other way that Celtic don't continue to knock 4, 5, 6 goals past teams over this period, really start to excel and really start to show us, like I mentioned earlier, the peak of performance that we can get out of this Ange Postecoglou team with the current roster of players that we have. And I think once we leave this window, the only spot we've got left to look at is goalkeeper. Is that something we visit in the summer? Is that something we visit next summer? Be very interested to hear your thoughts on all that. So boys and girls, get ready, expect better and expect more. I think this is going to be a really exciting chapter of the season. I can't wait to watch it unfold with all you guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share and retweet and all that good stuff. And we'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.